So this is actually a picture from last night. Ernie wanted to stay inside, cuddling with Roger when I first got home, and I wanted to edit my video for the day and get it uploaded before I went inside. But I guess after a while, Ernie decided he didn't want to be inside. He wanted to be out here with me, which is usually where he is, actually. So I was sitting here doing my thing, and I look over, and there's this sad face in the dark, in the window, all ears, staring at me. So I opened the door, of course, to let him come out with me, and I asked Roger, how long has Ernie been sitting there? And he said, he's been sitting there staring at you probably for a half an hour. So yeah, I'm a bad canine companion, as I didn't realize that poor dog was sitting in that window staring at me all that time. Poor Ernie. So today was going to be kind of a do-nothing day. Definitely wasn't going to be a list. Definitely think I'm getting a cold, so I was slowing down and gonna stay put. And then I got a call from my friend Yolanda, and things changed. We've been talking about, over the last couple of weeks, getting out and doing some thrift shopping. And we do that when either one of us has something that we are looking for, and then whether we find it or not doesn't matter. It just kind of gives us like women on a mission to get out. And I went to get some canister sets for my kitchen counter. There's a place on my kitchen counter that you can't use for anything. It's too far back to really reach, and it's not lit well. And I wanted to get all my baking things out of my cabinet and into canister sets onto the countertop. That would free up a whole cabinet for me. So that's the only excuse that Yolanda and I needed to get ourselves out to do some thrift shopping. And we hadn't actually planned on it. Well, that kind of thing, why do you have to plan on it? She just called and said, I got the afternoon, do you have the afternoon? So I'll take you with us just in case it's anything interesting in the thrift shops. And I may or may not come back with a canister set, because this is never about whether you get it or not. It's the fact that we have an excuse to go out if one or the other of us needs something. And then off we go. So the last time we were doing this, we were looking for denim clothes, because her son, and I love this, if I can find anything online that looks like what he ended up creating, I'll post a picture here, see if I'm lucky finding it. But her son, who's a wonderful man in his early 40s, and he has daughters who are, I guess they've just left high school and in college, like that age, and he decided for Christmas he was going to make them quilts. He loves doing things with his hand. He's a carpenter by trade and a woodworker, and this gave him something at nighttime to just settle down and be busy with his hands at night too. And so he was making them quilts out of denim, all different kinds of denim. I think maybe corduroy and khaki were also part of it. So for a while there, we were women on a mission to find as many jeans and jean jackets and pants and things, flannel shirts, because the back of the quilt squares were done in flannel. So it'd be cozy on the side, that if you were cuddling in it, it was cozy on your side. So I think it was flannel and fleece and some things like that on the inside. And that was our mission for probably a couple months, of what to look for in a thrift store. And this time, the last time we went out, it was because of something she was looking for. Something for her kitchen, I think. An old potato masher, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. But, the kind you just go drunk, 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 drunk with. And so this time, I had said, well, the next time we're ready to go out for thrift shopping, then we need to look for canister sets. So we're off today. Hopefully not driving around in the rain. Maybe it's just going to be cloudy. But I'm still on a high from last night's drumming. In fact, on such a high that I had a hard time sleeping last night. I think it was the drumming itself, but it was also it was a, you know how whether you know people or not, you step into a room that has people in it, And Bogey, don't worry about it. Bogey's protecting us from something. Sometimes the neat thing is when he does that growling thing, it's a deer that's walking up to the feeders. So I always keep an eye out just in case it's a deer. Don't see a deer so far, so who knows? It could be a squirrel, it could be a person, it could be a golf cart. That's how miniature pinchers are. So what was I saying? Oh, when you enter into a room, it could be in a business environment, it could be a church environment, at the mall sometimes. It's just places where you suddenly pick up on the energy that the group around you is creating, and sometimes it's not a pleasant thing. But from the moment I got hugs when I stepped into Gwen and Ruth's house, the energy of their home itself was amazing. And then it was like it just became, I don't know, amplified as each woman joined in, came through the front door and settled down. And they had a beautiful space for it. Big, big living room where you could get like 20 or more people all sitting down and have room to drum. And they had so many different drums. They had thunder sticks and rain sticks and something called a slit drum, which made the most unbelievable sounds. Really, really gorgeous. And they had castanets and they had all different kinds of things. And every drumming circle has its own personalities, and they drummed for healing to begin with, so that the women could make an offering of anything they wanted to be held in circle. And then we went off to just anybody who wanted to just start kind of aimlessly picking a rhythm, then the rest of you would join in. And they had this really neat thing that they did. I saw next to one of our hostesses a cymbals. A set of, is it called cymbals when it's on the drumstick, that you ding? Maybe it's not called cymbals then, I don't know. You can tell what kind of a musician I am. And, sometimes when you've been drumming a certain rhythm for a while, it just comes to a natural ending. And other times you're thinking, oh, this needs to end, but for some reason it's not. And you start feeling almost a tension because its time is done. And Gwen did a really good job. The couple of times when it was time to kind of bring it to an end, she just did this little trill on those cymbals. And it was a very peaceful way to signal a shift in energy, to slow down, to quiet the drums. And of course, if we were drumming high energy, then the way that they brought it to an end was just by using some particularly large, resounding thuds on one of the more bass drums that would just bring it to a crescendo and an end. So they've obviously had experience leading these drum circles, and they held the energy of it wonderfully. I don't like drum circles that the entire length of it is one tempo. I also don't like drum circles where the tempo the entire time is that wonderful, shamanic, almost frantic, frenzied drumming. Oh, give it to me. And we certainly did that a couple of times last night. But I like to explore all the places your drumming takes you. And they were excellent at holding that for this group. I think it's the first time I kind of appreciated, say, the potential or the gift that anyone who's hosting a drum circle brings to it in the way that they're nurturing it, I guess is the best way to put it. And holding a space would be another way to say holding the space for the folks who are drumming. I really enjoyed this. They mentioned that they do a midwinter, they do a solstice, and they do a winter solstice and a summer solstice ritual, where they include partners that don't drum, men, because this is a woman's only drumming circle, and children and anyone who wants to attend. And it sounds like, from what Gwen was describing it to me, it's a wonderful ritual. She's, I don't know if it's called initiation, or been adopted by, or I don't know what it's called, but she's had time with, and I think of it as initiation, with Lakota and Cheyenne Native American traditions. And I don't know whether she's Native American or through women she's met, because these are very active feminists and they travel a lot around the world. Whether it's women she's met, but so her inspiration for the winter and the summer solstices are very native in their inspiration. Because I asked her what traditions she took from to create the winter and the summer solstice gatherings that they host. And she said, we're not honoring a particular tradition, but we're inspired by some of the things we've experienced in our travels. And I thought that was a really respectful way to honor, that it's not an appropriation, even what she may know well with the Lakota and the Cheyenne tribes, that what they were offering was not an appropriation from that, but there's an appreciation that you can only, you must go deeper into that to truly be one with it. Instead, she just said that it's things that have inspired us from many of the different traditions we've seen in our travels. So of course it makes it very appealing. I did know about the winter solstice ritual, but I didn't know anyone at church yet, and I'd let my hesitancy of just showing up into a large group of people I don't know keep me from going. I think now that might have been a missed opportunity, but that's the way my nature is. It's just the way it is. I had that moment even before I went drumming last night, but didn't let myself talk myself out of it. And of course, next time I'll feel like I'm stepping into a room full of friends. That's the thing about getting over these things the first time. Sometimes it just needs to be that, that first time. In this case, it was only uncomfortable for just a few minutes at the beginning. Sometimes it can be a much longer time of being uncomfortable before you feel that you've settled into the energy of a certain group. So I'm really looking forward to summer solstice. I like the fact that they include everyone in the families that wants to join, including children. You know, we are generally in the winter time, until the height of the summer season, most of the circles that I would be part of, whether it's church or this one or women's circles or whatever, are going to be retired people, because that's a lot of who lives here year round. And the idea that there's an opportunity to circle with and celebrate with children. These will be people's nieces and nephews, their daughters and really granddaughters, grandsons. That energy, to be able to look forward to that a couple times a year, is very welcome for me. So that's the things I'm thinking about this morning. Maybe I should put down in my journal for this morning that I took time to be grateful, to think back, and to celebrate a wonderful night. And to look forward to spending the afternoon with someone I didn't know a year ago, who's become a very important woman in my life. Yeah, tiny moments of being grateful. That's a one little thing that is a huge little thing, don't you think? So some thoughts from my journaling of the day. Celebrating still, hi Aaron, he just walked through. Celebrating still the drumming from last night, and those moments when it just seemed like, oh, May and I were one again. It always seems drumming alone with her, that it's her and it's me, and it feels really, really good. But I guess it's the vibration that starts with other drums around, and, well, if you're not a drummer, maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, and that sounds a little out there, but there's something that happens when your drum starts singing that, to me, seems to happen in groups. And I journaled this morning a little bit about the fact that it was just so good to feel that moment that she and I just kind of went flying together. And I journaled about the fact that I hate that I don't have the skill of remembering names. And in a group I met, 20 new women last night, that I wish I was the kind of person that remembered names. Like, I even took a class at work once and flunked it on that kind of thing that was supposed to get you to remember names. I can't remember the name of it. It was a famous course that was going around in the 70s or 80s, but yeah, I flunked it. The lady said I was the first person she could never get to remember names, and I hate that about me, because it makes me seem to others as if I am being rude, and I am not. And then I journaled that I had I had a warning, sometimes you get what you pray for moment today, which was, it's been a busy week, there's been something going on every day. Today and tomorrow I had thought I'd be just home reading books and doing nothing and not having a list. And then Saturday I have the newcomers, the 101 class at the UU Church, Sunday's church, and then the afternoon there's a Darwin Day lecture that I want to attend. So I thought Thursday and Friday were going to be the quiet times for this week. Now, don't get me wrong, when Yolanda called to go out flea marketing, I was tickled pink. But to go from a life that is pretty much quiet to a couple of weeks that are full of activity, it's actually been a bit of a difficult adjustment for me to make. And I was reminding myself to celebrate that it's a complaint that's probably really good to have. And I also have a note here that yesterday I did so much just to tidy up because it was Tuesdays and the girls were coming, and I just wanted to tidy up the house and, like I said, vacuum because of the dogs and, do the bathroom, that kind of thing. Well, I have nothing in the house that has to do now with a box, so all the household stuff is done. And it's nice that that kind of thing isn't niggling at me at this point. I only have one box, as you can see on my list, and that's to set up our budget for this coming month. And the other thing I had was a thought from last night. With all due respect to all the beautiful men that I know, but it's happened to me before. There is a certain kind of energy when you are a woman and you are visiting a household of women. It's hard to describe, but there's a different energy, a different feeling when you're in a woman's house. And last night it was Gwen and Ruth's house. And as I settled in, and all the artwork had to do with women, and the statuary, the things they've collected in their travels, and pieces on the wall, and tapestries, and just the environment felt like one big embrace. And I don't mean that to sound like I haven't been in houses for men and women or men that weren't equally welcoming, but there's just something so special for a woman to spend time being held close within a home, which is the home of women. So I journaled about that, and I've been thinking about that. I'm going to write some more about that because I don't know if it's something I've intentionally thought of before, but last night I was really thinking of it. And even here in our neighborhood, where we have quite a few households of women, spending time in their homes, I can't describe what it is. And maybe it's something that just being a woman you appreciate is just that womanly energy that's filling the place. But that was something I thought about after last night. So, it was a good day at the thrift stores. And no, I didn't buy beer. It was a box that they had to put things in. So I'll show you what's in the boxes, but when I came in the house, ooh, it's steamed up. This is our dinner that's been cooking while I've been gone. It's barbecue chicken. I used thighs. And it's not barbecued, like you can see that it's a big sauce. It's more like the flavor of barbecue gets into them. Oh, it smells good as you're coming in. I'll put this on high now because it actually will cook down a little bit. But oh boy, does it smell good in here. So let me get my goodies unpacked and I will show you what I got. So this is my little haul of the day. Every place we went, they were even having like a 20% off the regular prices kind of thing. So I think I got everything on the counter here for about 40 bucks. So that allowance I told you that we stopped at the bank for, mine's gone. I have $10 for the rest of the month. That's okay though. I was particularly happy about these. There is 2 large and then 3 smaller Pyrex bowls. I want to get rid of plastic bowls in the house. I hate plastic bowls, and somehow I've ended up after the move without any of my ceramic or glass bowls and with nothing but plastic bowls, and I hate them. So I was really happy to get these really solid old Pyrex bowls. I went out intentionally looking for canister sets. If I swing you around back to that corner, that dead zone back here, where you can't really do anything and there's not really good light, it doesn't get used for anything. I wanted canister sets to go back there, specifically because all my baking stuff tends to be living in this cabinet. And if I can get everything out of here, then I have regained, see there's the ugly plastic bowls. I've regained this space for other things. So I was looking for a canister. I didn't want a canister set. I just wanted to be more, I guess, eclectic than that. So you know, this one's a nice kind of a salmon color. I don't know if it's looking a little orange here. And this one here, it has a design on the back, which bleh. So it will sit like that. So it'll be pure white. And this one here is adorable. Now if I had found a whole canister set of this, I probably would have taken it because it's so cute. But it's a leftover from a canister set. So those three will be going back in that dead man corner. And this will be for pasta. And I got the, I love this, they even had probably who knows how old spaghetti inside this one. But what I liked about this is, you know, it's got a design to it. So it's a pretty bottle. And I still want to get at least one more when I come across it like this for pasta. I want the pasta in the glass so, you know, so you can see them. They're pretty to look at. And this, it's an old liquor bottle, I'm sure, but it's going to be for my olive oil. And for kitchen purists, yeah, I do keep olive oil in glass containers, which you might think is against all the rules of olive oil, but I go through it so fast, it doesn't matter. Plus it's going to be back there in the dark, so I like cruets and things like that. So I wanted to say hello to some dear friends. I love you guys. And back here I have 3 apothecary jars. They were probably like my big bargain because they came in like this, it was pretty, a wrought iron rack that they sat in, and I guess they thought the rack was worth more than the bottles. Because I said, you know, since I'm not going to use the rack, if you guys can still sell it, these were charity shops, I'm going to leave it with you and just take the bottles. And they gave me the bottles for next to nothing, and that was kind of great. This canister is going to be for my flour, and it's going to sit back over here, not surprisingly, next to the mixer. And this little guy here, the stoneware container, he's going next to my coffee maker for my coffee to go in it. And then, these are not something that I was shopping for, but I have been wanting to get something different to use for wine glasses. I really don't care much for stem wine glasses. Yeah, they tip over and they're, I don't know, they just seem fancier than I am at this point in my life. And a friend of mine has Italian wine glasses that are glass shaped. And we were just talking about the fact that she just read that you shouldn't use these kinds of glasses for wine because as you hold it in your hand, you're warming your wine. So I joke with her about the fact I just don't think I hold my wine in my hand long enough for that to happen. But I'm also putting it down beside me or, you know, on a table or something. So I'm not like holding it the whole time. But these were really heavy. They're not, but they have that feeling of depression glass because they're so heavy. And I just love the fact that they have the seashell designs on them. So I ended up, these were originally $1 a piece and I got them for 50 cents a piece, so I could have gotten more, but I stopped at 6 because of storage. Because actually they have to go out here, believe it or not, in our TV cabinet, because that's where our good glassware goes. So that, including the glasses over there, was my great trip out to the thrift store. Oh, by the way, we were talking about this someplace recently, about whether you use a dishwasher. This dishwasher was put in by the people who lived here before us, and as you can see, put in very badly. In fact, looks like some of the wood's actually coming off. Oh well, I'll try tacking that back on. Didn't notice that till just now. So it's put in very badly, and they sacrificed a cabinet. I'd like to wring their necks for doing that. And it's a pantry. It's a pantry. You know, I keep some of the plasticware for storing things in the refrigerator, and then my supplies for cooking for the week end up in the top drawer. And it's a little pantry for us because pantry space obviously doesn't exist too much in a mobile home. But I hate that thing, and we do hope at some point to find a contractor that, you know, a local person that has skill that can build me the cabinet back that was there. Because it's ugly, it doesn't fit right, it wasn't put in right, and I hate it. I hate it in so many ways. Plus, I wash dishes. I don't use a dishwasher. I haven't used a dishwasher since, oh, I remember my first apartment. I was so excited it had a dishwasher in it. So I used it then because it was a luxury and, you know, nobody had them back then. But so there is my trip out for the day and my oh woe is me dishwasher story. I assume it works. It actually looks like it was brand new right before we moved in. You know how you can tell by the inside of a dishwasher whether it's been used. Oh well, it makes for nice storage for canned goods and dry goods. There's my trip out. That's about as exciting as today got, my friends. So what I forgot to mention to you is these guys here were also like leftovers from canister sets or, you know, pieces that, you know, didn't match anymore. This guy was actually got like a corny bear on the back. He's a cookie jar originally that I'm going to use for my flour. And this looks like it's part of an old Foltzcraft canister set. And I'll be using that once again. I want the plain look, so obviously they'll be facing away. But the good thing is I think they were pretty cheap because they were like one-off pieces that didn't match anything else. So, all in all, again, it was a good day to go thrift shopping. So dinner tonight is barbecued chicken thighs and sweet potato fries and a salad. I think this recipe, I've had it for a long time now, was for chicken legs maybe, but I go for thighs because they're so inexpensive. We eat a lot of chicken thighs when it comes to chicken in our recipes. And usually boneless, always skinless. And the full recipe for this will be on my blog where I talk about food, which is linked below. Basically it's just 3 pounds of chicken, a cup and a half of barbecue sauce, a quarter cup honey, some yellow mustard, and some Worcestershire sauce. And it's a crock pot dish, and I think it says, I usually cook it all day on low, but I think it says you can cook it on high for 3 to 4 hours, or you can do low for 6 to 8. So I usually just, you know, put it on midday and just let it go. And we're having a salad with it, and we're also then having our sweet potato fries. I have tried all different kinds of recipes for sweet potato fries because we try and stay away from the white potatoes, but we do like the sweet potatoes. So I have a lot of different ones. Some are really savory, some have a bit of sweetness to them because they use brown sugar and cinnamon, and they're all really different. And this one's kind of a savory one. Again, the recipe will be on my personal blog. And while we eat our main dish, like the meat, at least twice, according to the size of the recipe, I like to change out the vegetables day to day. We find we get a little too tired of vegetables if we repeat them too much. So this is a small recipe for the sweet potato fries. It's just 2 big sweet potatoes, you know, chopped up into fries. And then you kind of mix up a bunch of olive oil, chili powder, cumin, onion powder, garlic powder, and some cayenne. And they get baked for 425 degrees for 15 minutes. Then you kind of turn them over so they get the other side done and do it for another 15 minutes. So it ends up being 425 degrees for about a half an hour. And then before you take them off of the tray you've used to cook them in, just use some coarse salt to sprinkle over the top of them. And they come out pretty zesty. There's a really nice flavor to them. That's dinner for tonight. And tomorrow, of course, it'll be the chicken thighs again with a new recipe I'm trying, which is twice baked cauliflower, which looks like it'll be interesting, so I'll share that with you tomorrow. It continued to be a gray day all day. It started to rain, and dang, it's cold rain. There's a forecast that we could get some snow, but not snow the kind they say that sticks on the grass but doesn't stick on the road, so it's not going to be any snow that matters. But we were walking across the parking lot when the sky opened up, and it felt like little tiny icicles were hitting us, and it was cold rain, big splotty kind of fat cold rain. But another gray day, and I'm really cool with that. My tiny moment for today is also going to be sharing some more of the perfect grayness that's been living by the bay this week.